You're into your shows, right? Well, then listen up. If you have Xfinity Internet, entertainment starts at free with Flex, so you can get really into your shows. Find your favorites faster with just your voice. The Office. From Peacock to HBO Max and Disney Plus, the whole squad's here. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Man, he's moving. Xfinity. It's a way better way to watch.
Restrictions apply. Subscriptions required to access streaming services, including Disney Plus. Requires postpaid Xfinity Internet, excluding Internet Essentials. One device included. Additional devices $5 a month.
This is Stephen Jackson, co-host of the podcast All the Smoke, a production of The Black Effect and iHeartMedia in partnership with Showtime. Each week, my brother Matt Barnes and I, two NBA champions, sit down with the biggest names in sports and culture to have uncut and raw conversations. No BS questions, no BS answers. We get right to it with each and every guest. iHeartRadio is #1 for podcasts, and it's easy to see why. Listen to All the Smoke on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Brought to you by Coors Light, made to chill.
Hour 2 of the Nightcap here on VSiN, and we are joined by a special guest. Jeff Parles has joined us. Former NFL quarterback is here as well. Sean King in town just with the fam, and really cool for you just to stop on by.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Like everyone else, I love my sports. I love to be right and profit from it. So let me swing through.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to get to. We're going to talk some NFL. We'll talk some NBA as well. I tweeted out a picture of you standing next to Tony Dungy. This was from 2000. You led the Bucs to a 10-6 record that year. Man, that's a baby face right there.
I had hair and abs at that point in my life. Now I'm bald with a belly, but I like to think I'm still a great guy inside. But the presentation has altered itself slightly.
Yeah, that was quite the year, 2000.
Hey, good times, man. Good times. A great team. You know, people forget back then. I know prior to Tampa winning the championship last year. 99, 2000, 01, 02, we were picked to win the Super Bowl 4 years in a row.
Wow.
So, it's good that the organization has gotten back to that. And, it looks like we're going to be favored heading into this upcoming season. If we can stay healthy, why can't we repeat?
Yeah, they are, and it's a team, too, Sean, that brought back 31 players had over 200 snaps last year. All 31 are coming back.
One reason. Bruce Arians.
Yeah.
He's the best players coach in the National Football League, and veteran free agents want to come there and play. Guys that are there want to stay there. They'll take less money because he takes care of you. He treats you like a true pro. I think that's why they have a chance to be successful.
What about number 12? He's pretty good, too.
He played a big role in that. But that's why he came, because of his prior relationship and knowledge of Bruce and how Bruce runs things. And, guys want to be able to just go play football.
Just with winning that title in year one with Brady, especially with all, I don't want to say struggles during the regular season, but it was.
Oh, there were struggles.
There were.
If you bet with Tampa, there were struggles.
Early on, yeah. And it was the figuring out period, of course, with the COVID-related offseason where no OTAs, very limited preseason training camp, no games in the preseason. Just how surprised were you that they were able to get it done and actually win the Super Bowl in the first year with Brady?
I think it gave them an edge. Okay. Because they had so many vets. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you look at Tampa, their only young contributor for the most part was Tristan, the offensive lineman. Everyone else pretty much was a veteran. I know they were younger in the secondary, but they didn't have any rookies starting playing prominent roles. Those were all second and third year guys who had played a lot of football. So I think that offseason or lack thereof catered to a veteran team like Tampa.
Yeah, and I don't want to just dominate with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're going to get to a lot with the Bucs, but Antonio Brown now being there a full season, I feel like that's one of the unique aspects to this team because he wasn't there for a full season last year. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's a great thing. He's the number one receiver.
Yeah.
And so now you put him on the other side of Mike Evans, you have two. You get O.J. Howard back, which takes a lot of snaps off of Gronkowski during the regular season, a young, talented guy. You have Cameron there, the third tight end. They added a young running back, added a third down guy from Cincy.
Yep.
So, they're set up to make another run. So if you're not reading between the lines, Tampa put a futures bet in on them to repeat.
Even with those short of odds. Is the motivation that
I think they'll get shorter.
You were on a Super Bowl winning team.
I was.
How this offseason, now you've got Tom Brady there. He's won 7 of these things, and he's won back-to-back before, but don't you get a little happy? Don't you get how do you not get complacent? Looking at those odds, at plus 650, you're like, I don't know. I mean, everyone's coming back, but how do you not get complacent when you just won it?
Well, let me ask you this. Plus 650 seems short now, but if Tampa's 13-4, home field throughout the playoffs.
It's not going to be that.
You're looking at plus 650 like I should have been all over that.
Yeah. Well, and I want to get into the NFC because, it is
in a flux.
Especially the NFC is intriguing, but then you look at the division, the neighborhood that the Buccaneers play in.
Everybody's rebuilding.
Yeah, everybody's rebuilding.
And you have Tampa sitting here ready to go.
So we got a lot to get to. Former NFL quarterback, Super Bowl champ Sean King in studio. We got to get you updated on Suns and the Clippers as well as the fourth quarter about to get underway. Let's get it rolling. It is the nightcap here on VSiN. Heading to the fourth quarter, Phoenix Suns leading the Los Angeles Clippers 75-71. Devin Booker split his nose, I won't say headbutt. He just gave a pump fake. It was, I know it was Patrick Beverley, but it wasn't a dirty play whatsoever. But Luke Kennard comes out and buries a three, so we got ourselves a 1-point game. Sean King, kind enough to hang out with us in studio on family vacation. I feel bad. You're coming in, your family's in town. And...
So the real reason I came, I'm trying to get how much weight can I lose in 6 months. Put on the board as like a betting entity, so we got to get that to happen.
Wait, I mean... I am. This is my first Vegas summer show. Now you're a Florida guy, so the humidity, you sweat a lot. I don't know. You stand out here in 115. It's like a sauna. You just stand here and you'll lose that. You'll lose a couple lbs. I feel like.
I actually lived here for 2 years. I actually like it. I'm a golfer, so it kind of fits. Only difference between here and Florida really is we have beaches.
Yeah,
so that's where that humidity comes from. Was it's more dry. I played in Arizona for the Cardinals, so I'm pretty comfortable with it. It was hot end of last week though.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. We had friends coming out here, and we're like, it's going to be 115 degrees, so just prepare yourselves. We'll be going to the pool a lot, but yeah, it is. It's great to have you in here in studio. I want to get back to the NFL in a moment, but. We got NBA playoff action going on right now. Phoenix up by 3 on the Clippers, and it's been a very unusual postseason. You look at both number 1 seeds gone, Brooklyn Nets and the Utah Jazz. The favorite in the Los Angeles Lakers gone. It has been a battle of attrition, Sean. What have you made so far of this postseason? Do you think the shortened offseason has led to these injuries, or is it just that sometimes this is the way the cookie crumbles?
I just think it's the way the cookie crumbles because there's such a wide variety of guys getting hurt.
Right.
James Harden's a guy that doesn't buy into the I'm going to sit 20 games, before the season starts. He's a guy that plays every game he's hurt. Kyrie got injured.
Yeah, the Kyrie injury, he falls right on Giannis's foot.
Chris Paul caught COVID. He didn't get hurt.
Yeah. Right.
We still don't really know what's going on with Kawhi. They haven't said. I don't want to speculate. So when you look across, Embiid missed half a game or something
against
like
the Wizards.
Anthony Davis, so it's a weird little deal. I think guys really got to look at what they're doing in the offseason, from a regeneration standpoint, because not being available in the playoffs is not why they are making the amount of compensation that they are.
Sean, who do you think is going to win this thing?
Well,
now?
I have Milwaukee before the playoffs started at 12-1.
Nice.
To win the whole thing. So I'm a Milwaukee Buck fan. If I
weren't feeling great down 2-1, were you? Or down 2-0?
What hurt me more than where they were was how elementary they looked on offense.
Yeah.
Like I was almost, are you guys practicing? What are we doing here?
Game 2 was horrendous.
It was horrendous.
And at that point, I was, I didn't take 12-1 to win the title, but I took them at 2-1 to win that series. Just based on that value, you look at that roster. And I did not feel good whatsoever.
I wanted to email Coach B, and you needed to sing in some plays.
Well, Sean, I came on this show, and Jeff can attest to this. I looked right into that camera. I said, "Who is beating this team, if healthy, 4 times in 7 games?" I was convinced nobody was going to do it. But the big caveat, which has been the storyline of this postseason, if healthy, Kyrie gets hurt. Harden comes back, but he wasn't 100%. It's not taking away from what Milwaukee was able to do, and Kevin Durant could only do so much. I mean, he played out of his mind, but at the end of the day, there was just enough on Milwaukee, and now at 12-1, you're feeling fantastic about where you sit.
I'm sure everyone that's listening and watching is just like me. We pull for our pockets.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the beauty. That's the beauty of this network.
Our heartstrings will heal.
Yeah, that's the beauty. That is. I think that is the new catch. You know, we have like catchphrases. VSiN has all these catchphrases, and I think that might be.
We pull for our pockets.
Pull for our pockets.
I like it.
I'm gonna tell Bill, our COO, we got a new T-shirt courtesy of Sean King. We pull for our pockets here at VSiN, and I'm pulling for the Clippers plus 5.5 here.
I have the Clippers money line, so let's go.
Yeah, we need the Clippers to get a little going here. 81-77, the Clippers and the Suns right now. What have you made of this Suns team? I've been, one of the themes of this show is me kicking myself for not betting the Suns to win the Western Conference. Both Jeff and I were watching them last couple weeks of the season. We're like, something's clicking here. There's a lot of value on this team to win the West. But then when the Lakers fell at the 7, and look, we saw it. It was 2-1. And the Lakers were minus 900 to win that series, Sean. It was over.
Yeah.
I mean, LeBron and the bench are laughing, him doing post moves on Jay Crowder. It's done. And then AD gets hurt. And credit to the Suns, they have risen to the occasion. So it's hard not to like what the Suns have been able to do, especially without their leader right now in Chris Paul.
Hey, big ups to James Jones. I mean, putting that team together. I think the Suns and the Hawks kind of mirror each other. Because they haven't been at the forefront of our thought process the last couple of years, you didn't realize how talented they were. Like, it's not just Devin Booker. Like, they have pieces. Miles Bridges, Jay Crowder fits, Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton is developing. You look at Atlanta the same way. It's not just Trae Young, especially when they're fully healthy. I mean, they had Bogdanovich.
Yep.
I don't know what was going on at Maryland, but that's not the same guy that played at Maryland that wears number 3 for the Hawks. I mean, he's new Larry Bird. I mean, he's out there getting buckets. And like you think about it, they're talented. It's not like I feel like they're overachieving. I feel like the Suns and the Hawks have been the most talented team so far in each series that they've played.
Sean, to shift back to the NFL, obviously we talked about the Bucs at the beginning, but that division obviously looks a heck of a lot different than it did 6 months ago. Drew Brees, obviously not in New Orleans anymore. We think Jameis is going to start week 1. Darnold is now in Carolina. The Falcons seem to be heading towards a rebuild. Just what do you make of the other 3 teams in that division behind Tampa?
Well, here's what I know about the NFL. Every week is a battle. Don't ever think that it's not. Every game comes down to 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. The favorite team might be up 8 with a 3rd and 6 on their own 42. And if they convert, the game's over. If they don't, all of a sudden you're on the edge of your seat because the underdog is in a 2-minute offense because there's so much parity.
Of course.
Having said that, it's a quarterback-driven league. So you look at that, Sean Payton's history says he's excellent at getting quarterbacks to perform at the highest possible productivity. So you got to think Jameis is going to take an uptick, not from production, but in limiting his turnover. So I think the Saints are still very dangerous. Carolina, Sam is still trying to find his confidence. And Atlanta, they're we want to get rid of Matt Ryan. We can't really get rid of Matt Ryan. So you think they'll take a step back. But, I think it's still the Bucs division to lose, but don't underestimate the Saints.
Yeah, the Saints, I'm a little down on the Saints, but, we will
speak on it.
I just...
A diminished Drew Brees compared to a more consistent Jameis Winston. Because this wasn't like prime Drew last year.
True.
And they still were.
And I like Jameis. My worry, one, is this fascination with the tight end in Taysom Hill. He has
a role there.
I want, if it's going to be Jameis, make it Jameis.
Well, I'll defend Sean Payton and say this. He's the one head coach who calls the plays in the National Football League, who no matter it's Darren Sproles, Reggie Bush, Alvin Kamara, Taysom Hill, he's found a way to not only integrate them into what they're doing, but be elite still on offense.
I just always felt like, Sean, that, and maybe you could, as a quarterback, if you're Drew Brees, doesn't it take you out of your rhythm when, okay, it's 2nd and 3. All right, let's bring in Taysom Hill to run him up the middle for a yard. It always felt like at the most inopportune times, Taysom Hill would come in. So there was this weird fascination.
Let me ask you a question. Is Drew Brees a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Oh, yes.
And Drew Brees came out of the game without making any kind of an issue about Mr. Hill being in the game. So
That's
what
true.
could any other quarterback that came after him ever say?
Yeah.
Man, I don't like when former quarterbacks come in here and schooling me.
Well,
I played the position.
Drew's making $40 million a year. He's not complaining.
If you are, if you're Jameis Winston,
right?
Doesn't he need to get in a rhythm? Can he function the way that Drew Brees was functioning?
Well, it's part of being a pro.
Yeah,
I think he has to. I think you're going to find in New England that Cam's going to have to figure out how to be himself and split time with Mac. I think that's going to turn into a timeshare. I think in San Francisco, Garoppolo's going to have to figure out how to split time with Trey. I know they're saying he's not going to play. They're going to have a package for Trey Lance. They didn't trade up and give up everything that they sacrificed from an asset standpoint to draft a guy at 3 and he not see the field next year. That's not happening.
Well, let's. I want to stick with rookie quarterbacks because this is such a fascinating year with all this young talent, and it leads to a lot of good odds out there for Rookie of the Year because it's not just a slam dunk. It's going to be a quarterback because we've seen running backs. The last 2 have been quarterbacks, but we've seen running backs in recent years. Odell Beckham won it in 2014. So you look at those odds, Sean. Trevor Lawrence is the favorite. No surprise there. Walks in day 1. He's the starting quarterback. Najee Harris, his odds have been shortening. It feels like day after day because he's going to be the every down back in Pittsburgh. What's interesting to me is Trey Lance and Justin Fields' odds are slightly shorter than a guy like Zach Wilson. Trey Lance and Justin Fields aren't expected to be the starters right away. Now, Justin Herbert was not the starter right away, and he ultimately won it. Zach Wilson's going to be the starter right away. So when you look at that, Sean, for Offensive Rookie of the Year, who jumps out at you as intrigue there?
Well, I'm buying stock in Jalen Waddle. I just think Jalen Waddle's Tyreek Hill. I think Miami's devoid of a big play asset on offense, but they're also good enough to be in the playoff hunt. So you're talking about a team that's going to be a part of the national conversation because they're going to be in the playoff hunt, and then a guy I think is going to dominate the highlights because of its explosiveness and ability to make plays down the field. Just like when you turn the Chiefs on, as good as Patrick Mahomes is, it's Tyreek Hill that wows you. So I think Jalen Waddle at 16-1, I'm buying that stock.
So if you're buying Waddle's stock, does that mean you're buying Tua's stock as well going into this season?
I wouldn't go that far, but I don't think Tua needs to be a Pro Bowler. Tua just needs to be a better version of Tua than he was last year. If he just keeps on his natural progression, that's good enough for Miami because they got a heck of a front office, a heck of a coaching staff, and they're good enough around him to be a 10-7, 11-6 type team.
Yeah, Sean, the Dolphins are a team that really intrigues me. I love their draft. You go out, you get Waddle, you get more speed. They signed Will Fuller. Can he stay healthy? Obviously, that's the big question, but they get an offensive lineman in Liam Eichenberg, should be plug-and-play starting right tackle. Their left tackle last year, Austin Jackson, first-round pick. So they've just been stockpiling talent. Players. I mean, look at what they've done with the Laramie Tunsil trade. That just keeps turning over into more players. So they've got a lot of young talent. They were a 10-win football team last year. You're a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
In this day and age, if you are not great right away, we write you off to an extent. What have you made of Tua? He went to Alabama. He jumps in the stage. He replaces Jalen Hurts in the championship game. He throws a touchdown. Everyone's, bowing down at the altar. Had a really good collegiate career. Gets hurt late in it. And then, I felt like it was unfair the other day for him when people are out there saying he threw 5 picks in minicamp. And, Brian Flores comes out and says, look, we want him to be testing him.
Yeah, that's what you try things.
Yeah, so that's is that unfair to Tua for people? Because people now, they just want to write you off so quickly in the NFL, especially if you're a high-drafted quarterback like Tua.
Well, I don't believe in unfair. I just think it comes with the territory.
Yeah.
Like, when it is what it is. Football is entertainment.
Yeah.
Guys get compensated at a great point to go out and entertain. And it's a game that we love, but it's also part of it. The thing with Tua that I love is he's never got to be a young quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
The first snap he took at Alabama, they were picked to win national championship.
Yeah.
Yep.
Miami expects to be in the playoffs. It's not like he's on one of these teams, and I think that's why Zach Wilson's odds are a little higher than some of those other guys. Nobody expects anything from the Jets. You know, he can go out there and throw 35 picks next year, and he's going to start every game, and no one's going to care. Where, I mean, people talking about Tua throwing picks in practice.
Right.
So, I mean, the pressure's different, but he's always lived up to it throughout his career, so I don't think anything will be different moving forward. I'm buying Miami Dolphins stock. I think they're right on the cusp of taking that next jump.
Sean, you mentioned it before, that Cam may have to get used to a timeshare there with Mac Jones up in New England. Just the Patriots, obviously, first time not making the playoffs since the year Brady tore his ACL, under 500 for the first time before Brady even took a snap as a Patriot. Just what are your thoughts on the Patriots going into this year?
What's their total, their win total?
They're 9, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I would go over, and here's why. People don't ever forget this. The Patriots had, 6 starters opt out because of COVID.
Yeah, they had the most opt out.
Right. Hightower.
So it wasn't just that they lost Tom Brady. It was a lot of their guys opted out. You're trying to fit Cam Newton into a system that he's probably not tailor-made for. Mid-season, you're trying to tweak the system to maybe fit Cam. So I don't think that was the right representation of New England. The one thing Coach Belichick has shown us, even the year when Tom Brady was out, and I think it was Matt Castle, if I'm not mistaken, they went 11-5.
Yep.
They'll be back, trust me. Now, can they win the championship? I don't think so, but they're a double-digit win team just because I think Belichick understands how to get the most out of his guys.
And Sean, as we talked to Sean King, former NFL quarterback, you look at the Dolphins plus 325 and the Patriots at plus 350 to win this division. We got about a minute before a break here. Can they unseat the Bills? Either one of them?
Ooh, I like Buffalo.
I know.
Gosh, I like Buffalo. You know, the one thing that scares me about Buffalo, and I love Buffalo, is how inefficient they were on offense in the playoffs. Like, to be honest, Indianapolis, the head coach lost that game.
Should have beat them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they had every opportunity to win that game, and the head coach just made, head-scratching decision after head-scratching decision. They were about to lose to Baltimore. It's a nip-and-tuck game. So it kind of scares me just a little bit about why they were so ineffective in the playoffs on offense, but I still love their talent. I love Josh Allen. I mean, he's elite. From a skill standpoint, they're going to get better and better.
I need more from Sean King. Can I hold you for one more segment?
Absolutely, I'm here.
That's Sean King, former Buccaneers quarterback, Super Bowl winner. He's going to hang around for one more segment. We'll also get you updated what's happening in Phoenix. It's the Nightcap here on VSiN. Hey guys, it's Tim Murray, the host of the Nightcap here on VSiN, and you've heard us talking about hymns and how they're helping guys look their best. If you haven't yet, it's time to see what they're all about. 66% of men start to lose their hair by the age of 35. I'm 33, so I've been checking it out every single day. Once you start to notice thinning hair, it can be too late. The solution? 4hims.com, a one-stop shop for hair loss, skincare, sexual wellness for men. It's time to write a new chapter, folks, one in which you have hair. And right now, my listeners can get their first visit absolutely free. Go to 4hims.com/bet. That's 4hims.com/bet. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Remember that website, 4hims.com/bet.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Is that Shakespeare?
Nope, it's Geico.
Yeah, that's Shakespeare from one of his unpublished works. Oh, it be not for awakening. Nay, giveth thou the berries. For 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Nope, it's from Geico, because they help save people money.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but Geico got it from Shakespeare.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Keep it rolling here. It is the Nightcap, and we did some begging, some pleading, and Sean's going to hang out for the entire hour. I think that
I'm here
on vacation, and he's
here.
hanging out with us for the entire hour. I could think of much better things to do on vacation, but for some reason he wants to hang out with two knuckleheads like me and Jeff.
Appreciate you guys having me.
93-90, 3:14 to go, and the Clippers just keep pulling threes and missing, which is not making me feel great, as I have an in-game of Clippers plus 5.5.
They called that a jump ball? I mean, Paul George was bear hugging him from behind. How did they call that a jump?
Yeah. So
bizarre.
So we got 93-90. Sean, you bet a little hockey tonight.
Yes.
You're in Vegas and you went against the hometown team.
Not because I'm not a Vegas Knights fan. It's just, I mean, if you follow the series, like, I don't think there should be a game where anyone's plus 200.
What are you playing for your pockets?
Yeah, hey, pulling from my pocket. That's all you do. Everything else shall pass.
We were just discussing it in the break, and I'm pulling it up right now. I've got a couple bets on Jamin Davis out of Kentucky to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. Reason I like him, obviously you look at that front in Washington, and for me, what stood out was Ron Rivera, linebacker, Jack Del Rio, linebacker, and this was their guy. At 19, they said, that's our guy. And I think you could potentially see a Darius Leonard situation where he's just flying all over the field and just hitting dudes. So at 12-1 is where I fired, but you've got a guy a little further down on the board, also a first-round pick, but something that you really like.
Absolutely, Greg Newsome from Northwestern that's in Cleveland. I just think they're going to be at the forefront of a lot of national conversations because they have a lot of personality on offense. The quarterback, the wide receivers, and I think going against Odell and Jarvis in practice is going to get him ready for everything he's going to see come game time. And I think Cleveland's a team that'll be in the playoff hunt. He's a very, very underrated cornerback. I actually had him number 2 on my board, right behind J.C. Horn from South Carolina.
Ahead of Surtain.
I had him ahead of Surtain.
Wow.
And, I love Surtain's dad. That's my guy. But I just thought from a growth potential standpoint, Newsome and J.C. Horn have more growth, in my opinion, moving forward. I think Surtain is going to be an outstanding player. I think he's maxed, in certain ways. I don't know how much better he's going to get, but he's good enough now as he is.
Right.
So that's why I thought I had those guys ranked a little bit higher.
Yeah, there was a lot of buzz from Newsome. And by the way, over at the Westgate Superbook here on vacation, I think you might have to make a stop over at the Westgate. 30-1 for Greg Newsome to win Defensive Rookie of the Year.
A lot of ramen noodles. 30-1, baby. Got to get our sodium intake.
Oh, man. Let's keep it with the Browns, actually, for a second, then, because obviously breakthrough, finally make the playoffs, beat the bejesus out of the Steelers in that first game, nearly beat the Chiefs. Them and Baltimore are co-favorites in most spots to win that division, plus 130, plus 145, depending on where you're looking. What are your thoughts on the Browns? And then what are your thoughts on Baltimore, who I think is going to be better than they were a year ago, but there is a ceiling at some point.
Well, I think Cleveland boils down to, do you believe in Baker Mayfield? Is he the guy from 20 or is he the guy from 19? I think he's somewhere in the middle. I still don't know how he handles the distraction of Odell Beckham Jr. being back in Cleveland. I think a lot of his success last year was all about football. For the first time in a long time for Baker, it was all about football. As talented as Odell is, he brings sort of the circus with him. And that's not a knock on Odell. It's going to benefit him greatly when he stops playing. He's going to be able to go on whatever talk show he wants and get paid an immense amount of money. So I'm not knocking it, but it is a factor. So if you believe in Baker, then I think you should believe in the Browns. As far as Baltimore, I do feel like Coach Harbaugh has to find a way to develop Lamar faster. And by that I mean they game plan to win, and you're supposed to do that. But I'd also think that stunts his development a little bit. And when you play a defense in the playoffs that's elite, that's geared towards stopping the QB run game, is schematically, and I'm not talking about can Lamar make the throws, make the decisions. Schematically, do you have enough to keep a defense off balance to where you can get guys open? And I think, the last couple of years in the playoffs, you kind of see that rear its ugly head against Baltimore in the playoffs. I don't think they have as advanced of a scheme from a passing standpoint as they should, because I do think Lamar can handle it.
Under 2.5 minutes to go. We've got a 3-point game. Phoenix leading 96-93. Jeff really needs overtime.
I could get some fouls if Phoenix can get up 5, but we're running low on time here. Aiden's been so good tonight.
He has had a big game. Wish I had put more down on his over tonight. Sean King, former Buccaneer quarterback, hanging out for the entire hour. It is the Nightcap on VSiN. you miss any part of our show or anything on the VSiN schedule today, don't forget to check out our free sports betting podcast. Catch replays of our shows, Follow the Money, A Numbers Game, My Guys in the Desert, and the Lombardi Line with VSiN Best Bets. Download our podcast as well, Beating the Book with Gil Alexander, Market Insights with Josh Applebaum. Also got Hardwood Handicappers with our guy JVT, Long Shots, Gone Racing, and the Ron Flatter Racing Pod. They're all free, available now at vsin.com/podcast or wherever you get your podcasts. 91 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. They just changed it. 92 seconds now. Minute 32 to go. 100-95, and we're waiting to see who has possession. A just terrible inbounds.
Bizarre.
Paul
At this
George
point in the game.
threw it behind your point guard it was Zubats. It was not his point guard. It was their center, and we'll see. DeAndre Ayton came over to try to grab it. I believe it looked like
that's gonna be Clipper ball.
So Clippers will keep it. I've got Clippers plus 5.5. Our guest du jour, Mr. Sean King, former NFL quarterback, is in studio. You've got the Clippers on the money line here.
Yes, I have the Clippers to win straight up. So I need some man magic if it's available tonight. I'll take it.
Canard magic.
I'll take it. I'm a big Duke fan. Shout out to Coach K, finally hanging it up this year.
Big Duke.
Farewell tour.
Got the big. We got a big Maryland fan.
Since
Aaron.
1988, I think. Johnny Dawkins, Tommy Amaker, Billy King. Yeah.
Yeah, we got so much to get to, and we got Patrick Beverley he's now been. There's been a bunch of injuries in this game. I don't know if it was a clear-out situation, but minute 6 to go, and Patrick Beverley is writhing in pain right now.
Did they at least call a foul? Because you can't blow that dead unless if you're calling a foul. There's nothing there.
Oh man, he
There's
sold
nothing
that.
there.
He sold that. Sean, as a former,
oh my goodness,
as a former football player, when you watch the theatrics now in the NBA, like I love basketball. I love the NBA playoffs. It's so great. But watching that play, Patrick Beverley got hit in the armpit. And he did graze him.
He
got a little bit on the chin. He got a little bit on the chin.
Patrick Beverley made a career in this league being a tough guy.
Right.
So if it was anybody but him, I kind of believe it, but he's definitely acting.
So they're going to review that. While we wait, Saquon Barkley, there was a video out today of him working out. Mm-hmm. And there's been some quiet buzz about the New York Giants this year. People are liking what they see. Missed Saquon all year last year. That division, Cowboys are the favorites. Still a lot of questions defensively there. They go out, they get Micah Parsons from Penn State. They bring in Dan Quinn to run that defense. They're the favorites. Washington with their defense. They bring in Fitzmagic to be their quarterback. What do you make of the NFC East this year?
It's such a funky division. The Giants...
We haven't had a back-to-back winner, Sean, in this division.
It's a funky division. You want to believe in Washington.
What do you think of Fitzpatrick?
I think Fitzpatrick is rock solid. I just think he has a tendency to go in stretches where he turns the ball over a lot. And that tends to get his teams beat, which is why he doesn't ever get longevity.
Right.
But his good is really good.
Right.
But his bad is like not any good. I thought the young guy in Washington played really good in the playoffs.
Taylor Heineke.
So we'll see. The thing with the Giants is where does their offense come from? Historically, guys that have torn their ACL have not been the same the first year back. It's always been the following year back when they really hit their stride. So, if they can't give the ball to Saquon 30, 35 times a game, where does the offensive output come from? Philly, that's a work in progress.
Oh, yeah.
Young head coach, new system, Jalen, first year full-time starter, young receiver in Devonta. Yeah, I think they're probably a year away, and I'm never buying Dallas stock ever.
It's always inflated.
I'm never buying Dallas stock. It always costs $100 a share, and it's only ever worth 25 cents.
Oh, man. Tim, we've gone 40 minutes here with Sean, and we have not mentioned Aaron Rodgers.
That's true.
That might be the biggest upset of all. So, obviously, We know what's going on.
What's the total on Green Bay for the season?
So where is Green Bay now on that?
Are they even on the board?
We
still
have odds. I think Circa's one of the only places where they're plus money to win the division.
They're still a pretty overwhelming favorite.
What's their win total? Do you know?
So at 10.5 still, isn't it, Tim?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, it's still high. You'd still go under on Green Bay.
I take the under, yes, because I don't think they can or are willing to trade Aaron. I do think Aaron ultimately comes back, but that's like, and I've never been in this situation, but I'd assume that's like living in a house with someone you're about to divorce. And, you know, like, can I talk to Aaron when the GM's around? Can I talk to the GM when Aaron's around? You know, the head coach, which side do I fall as far as who I'm supporting, who I'm riding with? I just think there's a lot of turmoil, a lot of negativity surrounding that organization. I don't know how you win games from there.
If it's not them in the North, then is it Minnesota?
Yeah, I would think so.
It has to be, right?
Yeah.
By the way, it's I just looked at it. It's 9.
Oh, so that's way down then. There,
that
that's
makes more
sense.
Yeah.
Juice to the over minus 120.
Minnesota's a talented team. They're a talented team. I don't love what they do on offense all the time, but they're a talented team. They play old school football.
You know, I'm always so. I spent before coming out here, as this is coming down to the wire. Let's just sit back and see how this game concludes here. As Sean King might jump out of his seat. The Clippers have just taken the lead, 101-100. They have gone on a 6-0 run in the last minute or so, and they have taken a 101-100 lead. And the bane of my existence, Sean, has been Zubats. I don't know why he's been in the rotation, but he's played well tonight. Got to give him credit. Ty Lue has got that rotation going, and it's a 1-point game.
Hey, I love Ty Lue. He hasn't got enough credit. The adjustments that he's made throughout the playoffs from game to game, I mean, he's been at an elite level.
This game flipped on the flop.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't make that call, that is a wide open corner 3 for Phoenix that would have put them up 6. It would have been good night.
I thought it was a great call.
Are those the pockets talking there?
Hey, pulling from my pockets.
but look,
we're gonna turn that into a thing.
I'm telling you,
should. It's a great one. But look, for the Clippers, though, if you could steal this game now, then all of a sudden, the game that looked like Phoenix was going to win the whole way through, even without CP3, Cam Payne is having his best game of his life, basically. And guess what? They're 30 seconds away from thievery here and winning this game on the road.
Clippers right now in game here at Circa, a pick, but juice to the Clippers, minus 150. 30 seconds to go in Phoenix. It's 101-100. Now Sean definitely can't lead. He's got to watch. He's got to be pulling for his pockets here. See if the Clippers are going to come home with this victory.
And you talking about missing Chris Paul. This is where he get everybody in the right spot, make sure the right person gets the right shot. So we'll see how much Devin really learned from CP3.
Well, we'll take a break. What will happen? You'll find out on the other side. It's the Nightcap here on VSiN.
Geico knows there are many reasons why you ride. From the exciting adventure of the daily commute to the peace of mind that Geico always has your back with 24/7 access to claim service and legendary customer service. But Pamela Mund had one reason in particular.
My skin is extremely averse to most fabrics, except for the soft, buttery feeling of leather. Thankfully, I found my clan of leather lovers in the biking community. It's been life-changing.
Geico Motorcycle. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Change the way you think about your home with HomeSense, the newest member of the home goods family. They've got everything for your home inside and out. HomeSense lets you reimagine every room with fresh discoveries. Furniture? You bet. Rugs? Lots of them. Table lamps, floor lamps, chandeliers? Yes, yes, and yes. Plus, there's wall art, oversized mirrors, and enough outdoor furniture and decor to make your backyard the envy of the neighborhood. Grab the melamine dishes you've been looking for, or that 6-piece outdoor set. With same-day delivery, you can have it today. HomeSense is a new shopping adventure every time you visit. New finds arrive all the time, so every day you'll find incredible savings on different must-have decor. Pro tip, if you see something you love, don't wait, because at HomeSense, finds go fast. Get the brands you love at prices that make sense, so you can make the most of your home for less. Take a virtual tour and find a store near you at homesense.com.
Look Looking to hire? Indeed will help you speed up the process. They have 135 skills tests to help you find the right candidates faster. Visit Indeed.com/credit. We got 2 games ending simultaneously. One just down the road, not as entertaining, but always entertaining to some, depending on what you've got on the line, as it is now 4-1, Montreal leading the Vegas Golden Knights, and Clippers and Suns has been just wild down the stretch. 103-102, Clippers leading the Suns. Sean King, he's tried to leave like 6 times, and we've grabbed his arm and brought him back into the chair. Former Buccaneers quarterback, Super Bowl champ, but he's got his eyes fixated on what's happening in Phoenix.
I think that ball is off of Booker.
This is very much like the review and overtime of that Texas Tech Virginia national championship game, where by the spirit of the game and for however long this game has been played before replay, it would have been Texas Tech ball or Phoenix ball. But I think Sean's right. I think this is going to go to the Clippers.
I think it's off of Booker.
9 seconds to go. Now, we've got a couple gentlemen here, Jeff and Aaron, our producer. They took in-game over 214.5.
Yes, we need overtime. We need this call to get.
As my shirt says, it's not under until it's over. So
we need this game to get. We need this call to go to the Clippers. Clippers make 2 free throws. Phoenix comes down, makes a 3, and then we're going to win if it goes to overtime.
Listen, I have the Clippers to win. They can go to overtime. We can both win. Don't preclude
I'm all in on that, Sean.
Here's the thing, Sean. Like I like Jeff and I like Aaron, but I'm pulling for my pockets. And
pulling for my pockets.